All right, so there's a couple of things before we get to the actual DevOps guru guys here. We heard Kristen talk about Appian, introduce them to this organization. But what I'll make you guys aware of is this new service that we'll be launching soon. The team is feverishly working to stand up this environment. And we've already began the process of building out the foundation for this new service that we're going to call Business Process Management. Don't kill me on the name yet. But the intent is to provide automated processes to unify the information silos, obtain productivity increases, process performance, and integration. So I thought this chart was, or this slide was important to you, or at least as a soon to come, you understand that we will be launching this new BPM service powered by Appian. Luis Zuniga, can you please raise your hand? Gentlemen, Luis Zuniga, he's the guy you need to talk to about Appian. You can also go to the back rooms. OK, so we've got this cool platform. And you guys all know about web hosting and database hosting. And David wants me to be up here and talk about database compression ratios. But I'm not going to do that, because that's not cool enough for us, David. I'm sorry. But we did want to give you a good sense of this enterprise platform that we have and the new offerings, specifically from the Microsoft side of the house, IIS 10 coming out, SQL Server 2016, the Nano server. Bob Chung, where's Bob Chung? Please raise your hand. In the back over there, that gentleman raising his hand. If you guys want to talk details about the capabilities there, please feel free. And Oracle, we got the JBoss 7 coming out, Tomcat, Oracle 8. That's probably a tablet, shouldn't be that. I think it's 13, right, David? The latest version of Oracle? 12C, thank you. OEM 13C. David, raise your hand. He's the guy you guys want to talk to about Oracle. He loves talking Oracle, give you all the details behind that. One more innovative thing I want to talk about, and this is part of Tagesh's organization here. I think I mentioned him a little bit earlier. I'm probably going to make him a star or great following on Twitter. You got to owe me for that. API management. So today, this is capable via our TIBCO platform. TIBCO just was purchased the, what was it called again? Mastery, that's right. So we've got that capability in-house now, and these guys are building it up. Are you ready yet? OK, end of October. And this stuff is really cool because what it allows you to do is to look at the data you've got, find out a way how to monetize it, and more ultimately say, OK, what's it worth for me? What's my data worth? Two examples. We've got Netflix and Expedia. Obviously, we all have heard Netflix. And the point they're trying to make here is that with APIs, Netflix could not have developed thousands of apps on hundreds of devices, ultimately saving through development elimination or through cost elimination of developers about $1 billion. And it allows third-party developers to build these applications for these devices through APIs. Expedia is another good example where I think all of us who've traveled here use various different travel sites, the Travelocities of the world, the Orbit, so on and so forth. All that stuff can be brought to one interface through APIs, right? And Expedia is an example of that. So the trends that are driving this API proliferation, in 2017, and we hit on this a little bit earlier, and it keeps coming back to information sharing and in communities as well. As Donald was saying, I love the community analogy because we have to extend outside of it, is NBCU has to do business with partners outside of itself. Right, we've got to go outside of our firewall. Sorry, security guys, but we just have to figure out how to do it in a secure fashion. Like, these APIs allow us to do it. So people are going to be developing more on mobile devices. And then by 2020, about 70% of the application development will be put on private or public clouds. So again, cool new service that we'll be launching within the enterprise. Wanted to give you all a sneak peek to it. And again, Tagesh Ramasamy is the person who you want to talk to. There's a gentleman named Deepak Gupta who couldn't make this trip today. But if you reach out to Ty, his telephone number is that. With that said, I want to go to another innovative platform we've got. The Pivotal folk who are here in the back as well. I've got this thing called Pivotal Cloud Foundry. And here's our native PaaS platform. I think in 2014, when we came up with the strategy on how do we move faster, right? The agility, we said, let's look at this thing called OpenStack, getting a lot of attention. And we've launched this platform called Pivotal Cloud Foundry. That is available today. This is not a sneak peek or a trailer. And the capabilities that PCF offers are pretty cool. Auto-scaling, self-service, container management. For those of you who do not know, containers are pretty darn cool. It gives you the ability to box up software, put it somewhere else, and you should get the same results. Self-healing, something breaks, gets fixed. Performance management. Let's see how well your applications are running. Integrated logging, the likes of a Splunk, New Relic, all that good stuff. So PCF is our true open source runtime platform here. Merging, obviously, DevOps and our IT team. Current footprint for PCF, it's available today, but we're looking for 2017 to have integration with or deploy into Azure as well, AWS. And as you can see from this highly artistic chart, right, the adoption has gone up as well. Amit Pradhan, where are you, sir? The gentleman raising his hand back there is the NBCU individual you guys want to talk to about PCF. And again, they're back in the room. OK. So let's talk about this thing called the innovative process. I'd like to introduce Dr. John Comas, and Naresh Kalawade.
Okay, this is a wonderful turnout, actually. We were told that there will be only 20, 40 folks. Okay. That's not good. Okay. Thank you so much for coming to Amplify. It's a pleasure to present DevOps from our NBCU team. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Naresh. I hope you all love Minions as much as we do. All right. So last year, we asked you, our customers, what were your software development pain points? Through those discussions, we learned that largely your software development challenges revolved around build and release management. Largely, build and release management was a manual process, and there were lots of delays in that process. There's a high error rate for our builds and deployments. Configuration management was far from optimal. We had to juggle multiple technology stacks. The audit trail, again, far from optimal. Our pre-production environments didn't always mirror production. And our time to market was slow. So what did we improve? We improved the quality of code developed. We're developing code faster and more efficiently, while at the same time reducing cost. We removed the errors that plagued our builds and deployments. We united the silos of development, software engineering, quality assurance, and technology operations. Now, software engineering at its core delivers change. Conversely, operations wants to deliver stability. So you have these two organizations with conflicting cores. Our goal was to unite them in harmony and to deliver operational excellence. So how did we fix these challenges? One word, DevOps. Now, DevOps is a fancy catchphrase which combines development and operations together. But now, beyond the obvious definition of the integration of development and operations, DevOps is a very broad term. In the industry, it has many definitions. So that begs the question, well, how do we at NBCUniversal define DevOps? I like to define DevOps by what we call the 5 C's: continuous integration, continuous delivery, continuous testing, continuous feedback, and continuous monitoring. So with continuous integration, developers are merging changes from their branch or stream to the main line or trunk multiple times per day. Every commit results in a build. And during that build process, we perform shift-left testing and test-driven development. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. Now, through continuous delivery, we are deploying that same build throughout every environment. We don't do environmental builds. With continuous testing, code is continually tested throughout the release process. And my colleague Naresh is going to talk to you more about that in just a bit as well. Now, with continuous feedback, you gain the pulse of your project at any given moment. What is the mean time to resolution for a particular work item? What's my build frequency? What's my deployment frequency? What does my error rate look like? All of that information at your fingertips. And finally, with continuous monitoring, you can understand at an instant how your application is performing in production. So, you just do a deployment to production, and all of a sudden there are 500 errors popping up, or the performance is slow. The system automatically sees this and creates a work item for your developers. The developers instantly know, and they have a place to start working off of.
Hey, wait a minute, John. Who is that third minion out there?
I thought it's only 2 minions, just me and John, right? Who is messing up on my head?
Well, there should have been 5, but somehow we only
Who changed this slide? Oh, okay. Okay, it's okay, it's fine.
All
Sorry,
right.
John.
So building DevOps. Our DevOps is centrally driven through the IBM Urban Code Suite. Urban Code Build and Deploy has empowered us to merge these 5 Cs into one integrated workflow. So all a developer has to do is commit their code to the repository, and the build kicks off. That's it. Very simple. Okay. So this is a very high-level diagram of our DevOps SDLC. We start out where a developer commits code to the repository, and as I just said, that kicks off the build process. But now during this build process, we're performing shift-left testing. So unit testing, code coverage analysis, static code analysis, and technical debt measurement. We get metrics on these various processes, and as long as the build meets these thresholds, it's passed. Once the build passes, we package it up and we ship it off to be deployed. And that's where our QA team comes in. And Naresh, I'd like to invite you to start speaking some more about this.
Thank you, John, for the minion extravaganza. Okay. Now let's look at what's the enterprise quality assurance EQA team is doing in terms of continuous testing. EQA team is the testing QA center of excellence for NBCU. We test applications across varied systems technologies in different project life cycles. These are in-house third-party applications. We are implementing continuous testing in DevOps context. Now, how we are doing that? Let's look at it. So we are implementing continuous testing across different project life cycles. What we typically do is assess the business risk for a particular application release and execute the automated tests against that application release. So as a part of this, we are executing end-to-end smoke, functional regression, integration, API and GUI testing across multiple platforms, whether it's mobile, desktop, and across multiple browsers. We have developed end-to-end test automation frameworks and tool integrations to support DevOps. With this, basically you can have, as you can see, the automated test packs that we have developed and are developing for various applications we can execute daily, nightly, even on the weekends. We have started making use of service virtualization and test data management techniques, which actually further enable us to implement shift-left testing. Now, how do we measure this? So we have established quality metrics which provide quick feedback to the development and other project teams in terms of build quality. Well, is there any value in doing that? Yes. There is a huge benefit. What it is, let's look at it. The main benefit is we are able to accelerate the QA cycle time, thereby providing the effort and cost savings. Just to give an example, for Magic application, we are able to reduce the QA cycle time by 60%. It's a huge cost saving over there. We have moved from the traditional QA approach towards shift-left testing. What it means: test early, test often. What it means is we are able to identify defects earlier on, we're able to fix the defects earlier, and again, the cost savings over there. This accelerates the delivery schedule, and all of these benefits actually enable continuous delivery, which is key part of the DevOps implementation. So as you can see, continuous testing helps us improve the application release quality, reduce the cost, as well as reduce the application risk associated with a particular release. So continuous testing is a very important component of the entire DevOps lifecycle. So I think enough of this theoretical blabbering. I'll just quickly go through a demo which will showcase a test automation which is implemented in the DevOps context. How does it look like? So this example will showcase the Magic test automation implemented in using the ubuild DevOps tool set. How does it look like? Okay. Okay, can we kickstart it? Okay, I think it's just not playing right now.
It's playing.
Cool. Okay, so what it's showcasing is the Magic test automation batch that we set up. Ubuild kickstarts it and executes it in a parallelized manner across multiple VMs at the same time, which further provides the effort savings. This is the ubuild UI. As you can see, on the left-hand side, it's nothing but the different VMs that we have wherein the test scripts are getting executed. The execution has started. This test script is basically verifying the distributor priority order and the content on the homepage screen. It's also taking into consideration if there is an application lag. So the automation script takes into consideration if there are any synchronization or other related issues. The other script is nothing but verifies the search functionality. So all of these scripts are executing parallelly across multiple VMs, and at the end of it, we have test execution result reports generated. So the result report is published, the results are assigned and logged in ubuild, and you finally have the result in ubuild. And at the end of the process, you can go through it and have a look at what's the test execution status. So as you can see, this is nothing but it showcases the detailed test execution report. You can have screenshots. I'm just showcasing it across various VMs, that's it. But the crux is we are able to save a lot of time. You can have an automated execution in the entire DevOps workflow using continuous test automation. That's about it, actually. Okay. So with that, as you can see, continuous testing is very crucial to DevOps. I'd like John to come back on the stage and continue the Minion story.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Naresh. All right. So I just want to take you back for a moment to our high-level DevOps SDLC. So once we get past the testing phase, we're going to use the same continuous delivery process to deploy that same build to higher-level non-prod environments, including staging, and then eventually production. And in production, of course, our continuous monitoring is in place. All right, DevOps maturation. So in 2015, we introduced our DevOps 1.0. And this was our first integrated life cycle for NBCU. In one workflow, we presented agile project management, source code management, build and deploy automation, unit testing integration, and QA test automation. In 2016, I'm very pleased to discuss how much we've augmented our DevOps. We've introduced fabulous new capabilities. First of all, we've put a heavy emphasis on shift-left testing. Unit testing, code coverage analysis, static code analysis, and technical debt measurement for all builds. A build is accepted when all of those meet the thresholds we've defined. Next, and this is something I'm very proud of, I like to call it DevOps for the database. So how many of you have been in the unique situation where you have a front-end release that has a database dependency? Very often. So you can use a process to push your application code out at the speed of light, but your database part is still stuck in a manual process. You push your code out to the environment, but it's broken until the database is done. So we fixed that problem. A developer commits their database scripts to the repository. We then run a forecast against a reference database of where it's going to deploy to. And the reference database contains all of the objects that the production database does. And we can see, A, does this script violate any of the NBCU rules that our DBAs have put into practice? Does the script even work, right? Does it try to add a table or add a column to a table that doesn't exist? Does it have a divide by zero error? Any kind of silly issues like that, it can tell you. So now if that database release passes, it's automatically deployed to the environment. And we can use that same package to deploy to higher level pre-prod environments and eventually production. Next, we're offering the capability to create environments in the cloud that mimic your on-premise pre-production environments. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're deep in development, but you have a production hotfix that you need to get out. You don't have an environment to test it. No problem. We can build you one on demand in the cloud all through Urban Code. Another example, you have multiple development tracks and you need environments to support all of these tracks, but you don't want to have 10 on-premise VM environments spinning all the time for this. We can handle it for you. Finally, we've introduced security integration. With Urban Code, with the flip of a switch, we can send your release to Veracode. And when the results come back, it's passed right into the same build life. Now, next year, 2017, we're going to introduce our DevOps 3.0. And one of the capabilities we're going to give to you, very excited about, DevOps Mobile. So we're all busy, right? We're all constantly on the go. We're not in front of our desktops or laptops. No problem. With the Urban Code app on your Android or iOS device, you can see your builds and deployments, check your work items, monitor everything. Also, we're going to support container-based technologies, Docker, Kubernetes, fully supported. We're becoming fully cloud-aware, and we're utilizing a product by IBM called the Urban Code Deploy with Patterns Blueprint Designer. And in short, what does this do? You can create a blueprint of what your cloud environment is going to look like and create it on the fly with Urban Code. It's repeatable every time, very simple and easy to use. And finally, we're maturing our continuous feedback and monitoring processes. Our DevOps supports all technology stacks. If you're a .NET developer, a Java developer, or if you're Angular, Node.js, no problem, we've got you. In fact, we just set up available NBCU's on-premise NPM Enterprise. And that's all for your Angular and Node.js development. SkyTap. So SkyTap is our enterprise as a service provider. With SkyTap, we can create fully configured self-service environments in the cloud on demand using Urban Code. So let me give you an example. You need a Linux box, right? No problem. We can build you any kind of box you want. Linux, Windows, you name it. Any flavor of OS, any core, we have that capability to do it. Additionally, and we've been working extensively with the Compass team on this, we have the ability to create QA infrastructures for running automated tests. So if you have a series of automated tests, instead of just running them on one box, we can build you an environment of 50 and run them all in parallel. Urban Code Mobile. So this is what you're going to see on your Android or iOS device. Build and release management, work item tracking, you can make approvals, you can see your continuous monitoring, all from your device. Work from anywhere. And to cycle back to you, our customers, when we closed out 2015, we had 10 DevOps applications in our portfolio. And we set a very lofty goal for ourselves. We challenged ourselves to end 2016 with 50 applications. Well, we ended Q2 of this year with 50 applications. And now I'm very proud to tell you all that we have 60 applications in our portfolio. And as always, to all of you out here, we're ready to engage with you today. And I thank you for listening to us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Naresh.